Ashley Griffith put dozens of innocent children and their families through unimaginable pain. Their lives forever changed because of his vile crimes. He hid in plain sight, working in childcare for nearly 20 years. Now new details are emerging about how he managed to get away with it for so long.
This is where Australia's worst paedophile, Ashley Griffith, used to live during his horrific offending. We can't reveal the exact house because someone else lives here now. But what we can tell you are the disturbing details of what this vile predator used to do out the front while staring directly at a school playground.
He's a dangerous psychopathic paedophile.
By almost every measure of depravity, Ashley Paul Griffith is the worst child sex offender Australia has ever seen. 307 convictions, 28 of them rape, over a 19-year period. Most of his 60 victims were under the age of 5. Criminal psychologist Tim Watson-Munro has looked into the mind of pure evil before, but never quite on this magnitude.
This person is a psychopathic paedophile, and I say psychopathic because there's clearly no empathy and a willingness to exploit and destroy the lives of little children.
Like many of these most dangerous offenders, Griffith was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Neighbours say he used to sit out the front playing beautiful music on a guitar. Across the street from his old vantage point lay a school playground in an inner city suburb of Brisbane.
They have a chameleon-like ability to blend into the environment, to gain acceptance, to gain trust. So there's no red flags necessarily that alert people to the likelihood of this type of offending occurring.
Facebook posts, which have since been removed, reveal his family had no idea of his grotesque offending.
Happy birthday, Ashley. Have a great day in downtown Pisa,
wrote his mum in 2013 when 5 of his hideous convictions occurred in that famous Italian location. When the celebrity child actress Shirley Temple died, his sister posted,
"Oh no, Ashley Griffith will be devastated."
Last year, his sister sold Griffith's prized Fender guitar, stating,
"This belonged to my brother who has passed away suddenly. He took immaculate care of his instruments."
Griffith himself used online bios at childcare centres to trick parents about how much he cared for their children.
I believe children thrive when they feel loved, supported and safe. I also love creating experiences that excite children and foster their curiosity and wonder.
These are crimes that are opportunistic, they're predatory, they groom the children, they garner the trust of the children's parents and significant others in the workplace, and then the offending commences.
Why that offending wasn't detected earlier is now coming under intense scrutiny. Queensland's Shadow Attorney-General Tim Nicholls today calling for a full independent inquiry into the system failings that allowed Griffith to offend for so long.
To conduct a thorough investigation and review of the system that allowed this monster to scrape through and to commit the crimes that he did.
A Current Affair has previously uncovered the missed opportunities by Queensland Police to arrest Griffith 10 months earlier. An earlier arrest was missed again when the same Child Protection and Investigation Unit dismissed a report from a 3-year-old girl that Griffith had touched her inappropriately. The girl's mother spoke to A Current Affair last year.
How on earth a man who is reported on 2 completely different incidences in different daycare centres is then free to work in another daycare centre?
The reason that could happen is partly due to the Queensland government's failure to bring in new child safety laws 7 years after they were recommended by a Royal Commission. A bill to implement a reportable conduct scheme was belatedly brought before Parliament today, with Queensland Attorney-General Yvette D'Arth speaking on its merits.
There's one name I need to mention when she talks about doing more, and that is Ashley Paul Griffith. 300 offences, 91 cases.
An offender who was aided by a cloak of anonymity for so long once again able to avoid the spotlight in Parliament, even though he's pleaded guilty to all charges.
Point of order. This matter is still before the court. It has not been completed. This is sub judice and we should not be talking about this matter.
Griffith is now awaiting sentence in Brisbane's Wollston Correctional Centre, a high-security prison that's home to the worst of the worst criminals. Last year, another prisoner attacked Griffith in jail, throwing boiling water on the reviled paedophile, resulting in a transfer to hospital. But that was only a temporary taste of the outside world, as attention now turns to how long he's going to spend behind bars.
When children are harmed, all of society is harmed. So this is a matter which I imagine the great public of Australia will be looking at very closely.
Criminal lawyer Bill Potts says Griffith's case could warrant the need of a rarely used provision in Queensland's sentencing guide.
They can sentence them to essentially an indefinite period. That is, they remain in jail, subject to review, until they are no longer a danger to the community.
An indefinite sentence was handed down to serial killer Leonard Fraser. It was also used in the case of Jeffrey Robert Dobbs, a fellow inmate of Griffiths at Wollston Prison and a sex offender so bad he used to hold the repulsive title of Australia's worst paedophile.
62 victims were identified, but up to 80 more may never be known.
Dobbs's offending was spread over 27 years, his victims as young as 12 months old. He was handed an indefinite sentence in 2003, but it was lifted in 2015 and substituted with a 15-year jail sentence, meaning he can now apply for parole.
It's a signal by our society that some people need to be removed from it, such as the nature, level and the lack of control in their offending and the very real danger that they place everybody in.
Makes you sick knowing people like that exist.